Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Fortinet live video, and we have Courtney with us. Hi, Courtney. How are you doing?
Hey, Nirav, how's it going?
It's great. It's sunny weather in California. Super excited.
It's sunny here. It's been cold, but it's a little sunnier here today. So, I'll take it when I can get it.
That's great. That's great. Now, look, today we want to talk about our favorite topic, secure SD-WAN, right? And it's so great to have you because, Courtney, we have known you for many years. You have been our formal customer and
Hmm.
now our retail field CISO. There's always something great I learn when I talk to you about retail, what things are happening, and specific to SD-WAN.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm seeing is we have some great success on SD-WAN, but some of the recent win we had, customers actually talked about how they chose another pure play SD-WAN vendor and they failed to get ROI benefit. And I think we have one of the great way to deliver that ROI and value for retail and many other customers. And really wanted to chat with you and learn more and share those success stories with our customers, right?
Yeah.
Especially when I look at our approach, look, we always believed in security-driven networking. We pioneered secure SD-WAN by converging security and networking, and great to see such a great adoption. Two things really differentiate us from any other vendor is, look, all SD-WAN is built in. There is no additional license. And no matter how much bandwidth they are using, there is an unrestricted bandwidth, unlike the other vendors. This is where we see a true ROI benefit. And there are sure many other elements that you can add in. So why don't you share with us what have you observed, how customers in retail getting this ROI, getting the value, using secure SD-WAN, and seeing the business continuity?
Yeah. Thanks for that. And I think, you said it, but one of the biggest benefits, obviously, is the integration of security. It is secure SD-WAN, and not all SD-WANs are created equal. Security is not necessarily an inherent part of SD-WAN. In ours, it is, but it's not necessarily. So being able to provide those services, the cost benefits, obviously, the application awareness, the protecting the user experience, but also that security is a big part of it. And when we talk retail, we talk the experience. It's all about the user, the customer experience. It's about protecting that. I think, for a while, SD-WAN, or maybe step back, before SD-WAN, a second circuit was really just looked at as an insurance policy. How do I make sure that if my primary internet fails, I got a limp along mode? Now you can't really have limp along mode. You have to make sure that you're not just protecting your circuit, protecting your connectivity, you're protecting that experience. The moment that experience erodes, then you're creating a bad, non-consistent experience for that customer. You think about it today, and especially in the events of the last year, the only way that retailers, restaurants, all of them could reach their customer was through digital means. This meant expanding e-commerce, expanding loyalty apps, expanding drive-through, curbside pickup, all of these things that require technology to run and required redundant and reliable and consistent connectivity to provide that always on experience. It is always on. The customers are always trying to interact with your business. The moment that you're not there, the moment you're not able to interact with them and consistently, you may have lost them. We talk about it a lot that, in retail, since there are so many options, there's less inherent loyalty now. If you're not providing a good experience, they can go to somebody else who is. They can log into somebody else's mobile app. They can get a better experience. And, one or two times, maybe they'll come back. But if you're providing them a bad experience time and time again, you may have lost them. And as we all know, it's much more expensive to get a customer back than it is just to keep them for that first time. So we've seen, retailers deploying it not as just an insurance policy, not as I need a secondary circuit in the event that this one fails, I can maybe limp along. They really are doing it to connect that experience. And they tie it back to revenue generating opportunities and revenue loss if they don't have that. So that's really where we've seen it. There's a lot of other things, holding providers accountable, holding their ISPs accountable for now they have greater visibility on exactly how good is this circuit. Do I need to upgrade? Do I need to move to another circuit? I think that's where we've been seeing it a lot. And you touched on it. I don't understand how, if you put in the right SD-WAN solution, you can't immediately see the ROI. You can't immediately see the value. Costs inside of a retailer. People is a big cost. Obviously, it's the biggest cost. when you're talking about technology, the biggest cost is really connectivity. But in the grand scheme of things, the cost of connectivity, that monthly recurring cost, is minimal when you compare it to the amount of revenue you may lose if you don't have that connectivity, or the experience that you can't provide if you don't have that connectivity. So then it comes down to, you better make a good choice in the hardware or the platform that you're using. Do you want 500 application signatures, or do you want 5,000 application signatures? Then it becomes, infinitely more important as especially in retail, businesses start to evolve. But obviously I'm biased. I came from retail. I was in retail for a long time. I'm now, retail CISO. I'm technology development, go-to-market strategy for retail. But SD-WAN isn't just retail. Maybe you want to talk about, obviously we support customers. We need to provide an always-on customer experience, but there's a lot more to it and a lot more use cases and value in other industries. Maybe you want to chat with that a little bit.
Absolutely. I really, by the way, like the way you talked about SD-WAN and a revenue generator. That's a very nice connection. And that kind of goes back to how we have seen customers deploying SD-WAN using Fortinet. They are seeing the ROI, some of them in 3 years, some of them in 1 year. And that's great, right? How it is helping them in the benefit. But as you ask, I think the SD-WAN for Fortinet is not just about a specific vertical or a specific site. What we have seen is SD-WAN is deployed across many verticals, right? Recently, we had a very large win in OT industry. It's because we can provide that exact same SD-WAN in a ruggedized form factor. You talked about Fortinet support 5,000 applications. There are many applications that we have for an industrial signature steering as well. So those things make us very unique to have SD-WAN in a different vertical, but also SD-WAN is implemented across different deployment. Of course, SD-WAN started off with the branches and a distributed enterprise. But during pandemic and post-pandemic, we are seeing SD-WAN is heavily adopted at home. I'm sure you are using SD-WAN with the cellular connectivity, right? And same as me. So by the way, do you have it? Do you have the SD-WAN box with you?
Not show and tell it all, but I like to, finick with my network a little bit. I like to change some things out. And I was actually took this one out of the box today. Our 40F with the cellular built in. So I've got one running the upstairs, one running the downstairs, one behind the desk. I like to tinker. I have some tech here, I will say. And I definitely use SD-WAN here. And I think we've seen an adoption, not just on an industry basis, but as you just said, home. We're all working from home. We're doing this from home. And I don't know how many, Zoom videos or Teams videos or whatever that I've seen, and people drop off or their connectivity lags. And mine really doesn't, because I make sure that the kids' school or their YouTube videos, or I'm sure there's 10 TVs on at all times, isn't impacting my traffic. And so you take that lens from protecting that at home, and you can start to see how can a business use that, right? It's about protecting the experience. I'm protecting my experience right now, it's not business, but we're able to chat effectively. But inside of in an industry of retail or OT or healthcare or it's about protecting the always-on experience for the customer or the patient or the supply chain, manufacturing line. You can start to see the business use cases extrapolated across all industries.
So that's great. And by the way, I also have the one which I'm using it is the 60F with the Wi-Fi. Just customers who are listening, we just released the 40-gate ATF with the first Wi-Fi 6 built-in SD-WAN. So as you can see, our goal is always about providing SD-WAN with different variation to make life easier, right? Reduce point products, consolidate. So I'm very happy that SD-WAN ASIC, which we have built, now have the complete portfolio available from 40F all the way to 200F, comes with built-in cellular connectivity, DSL, PoE, Wi-Fi 6, and a lot more. And that's what actually makes Fortinet unique, because we always trying to solve customer problems in a most different flexibility provision that we provide. And the way you talked about how you're using it and solving the problem is the goal. That brings me to this another question, Courtney, that you have been in retail for many years. I mean, you have managed a very large IT and a security infrastructure of the retail. What's your experience using Fortinet products and just some of the benefits that you have observed over the years?
Yeah, I think, again, you kind of touched on it. The beauty of it is everything is integrated, but it's integrated in a way that it's also not competing for resource because the ASICs and because of the things that we built in, we process things a little different. And so because not just the services, not just security, not just SD-WAN, not just those things, but you have a single box that's also your wireless controller. You have a single box that's your switch controller. And so we're able to consolidate not just functions, but we're also able to reduce complexity, reduce costs, manage it all centrally. And that was one of the biggest sellers. We didn't want to have a bunch of underlays and overlays and bolt-ons and additional services, because when we talk about SD-WAN, that's where the cost we're normally seeing, customers saying we didn't get ROI from another, pure play because we didn't realize we were paying per bandwidth. We didn't realize we had to add on additional services. By the way, did we even have security? Probably not. And it was so not cost effective for those pure plays that sometimes security didn't even get implemented. There was no cost left in the budget. No money left in the budget to put in security. So you don't have to compromise. And that was one of the biggest things that we continued to expand our environments when I was a retailer, into the Fortinet environment because of the platform. We continued to expand into that platform, the consolidation of functions, as you said, convergence of network and security. We never had to worry that, is security built in? Fortinet's a security company. Security's hard. It's what we did first. And then everything else kind of, built around that, the security focused mindset. So that's what we had. And I think retailers, today can definitely benefit from that. A lot of them are. We have some, amazing customers, some great wins that we've seen that they understand that vision, the story, the technology platform. It is really about, truly a platform. And that's how I like to speak to it. It's not, you're not buying widget X or product Y, you are buying into a platform, an ecosystem. And so that's one of the biggest things that we've seen as success in retail. And again, it's challenging because it boggles my mind when we see, customers didn't gain ROI. It's frustrating because there are, solutions that we have that are out there where from day one, you should be able to see performance impact, positive performance impact. And, if it's a year, that's great. But we see a lot of, customers seeing that ROI immediately, day one, immediately. And so that's one of the things that it's the beauty of the solution with all of the functions built in, not competing for resources, buying into a platform. That's the beauty of Fortinet, and that's what I saw as a former customer, and that's what I see today, and that's how we position it to help in the retail space, but also really all customers across all verticals.
That's very nice, and what excites me is all of these things that we are talking about on SD-WAN is organically developed, right? Yeah. This is all part of the FortiOS. Every feature, capability, consolidation, controller is organically developed. And that speaks volume of the innovations that Fortinet brings to customers. And by the way, I was super excited. Just a few weeks back, we announced our latest FortiOS 7.0, where almost 300 plus new innovations that we rolled out. And a big chunk of them is rolled out as part of SD-WAN. So again, SD-WAN innovations, we continue to add. But let me talk about the three things that we announced. And maybe you can give me a perspective of how retail and other verticals can leverage that. So the first thing is, by the way, you want to say something? Go ahead, Courtney.
No, you go ahead because you're going to I was going to say what you're probably going to say here anyway.
Okay, great. No, I really think the biggest thing is we believe that connectivity, that experience that you talked about, we want to continue on that journey and provide a solid application resiliency, right? You talked about how we provide 5,000 applications, but what's interesting is we are the only vendor who can do that with deep SSL inspection so that the accuracy of application is very important, and we make sure that's true. But beyond that, with 7.0, we have added some great advanced WAN remediation feature so that in an extreme lossy connections, we can make sure that the user experience, app experience remains high. So super excited about that innovation that we rolled out, right?
Yeah, as you said, I mean, that's exactly right. When you're talking to, a network administrator or the NOC or businesses, they don't want to have to worry about putting in controls and changing things and manually, editing policies to protect their network. They expect it to be done for them. And I think that's what we're trying to build is automation of WAN remediation. We got you. We're going to protect your network. We understand your business. Down to the signature level of an application. And we're continuing to expand on that. So I think, again, value prop of that stuff being built into the box. It's part of the SD-WAN feature set that we have. And it's not just about what speeds and feeds can I plug into here? Do I understand it on a, bytes and bits standpoint? We're actually understanding your applications, your business, and helping, automatically solve for problems that hopefully we solved them before you even knew you had them. That's the beauty of it. We want to make sure that we're protecting the network. We're providing a resilient network for the customer so that the customers can run their business and support their customers.
Exactly. And that's what we call self-healing experience, right? I really like that term because it provides that overall network can heal. There are all kind of automations are happening in the backend. And we're making sure that we're enabling IT team to focus on digital innovations and let all of the other day zero, day one, day two problem, we are making a predictive analytics using AI ops, using self-healing to make things better. And I hope that becomes a big part of the success and ROI benefit that retail and other verticals want to get. And the second thing I want to talk about, what we announced as part of 7.0 is really that accelerated convergence. I think no doubt when it comes to a single appliance with advanced routing, SD-WAN, security, Fortinet has seen a great success. But we are also rolling out the thin edge appliances, right? So there are customers who are looking from a CapEx to OpEx shift, just an SD-WAN or just the LTE or a 5G connectivity. They can use that. They can use Fortinet for that and connect security using the SASE. At the end of the day, FortiOS is available everywhere. And now we have made FortiOS available in a cloud edge so that cloud delivered security, SASE kind of deployment could be also used. So I'm really excited how we are making flexible deployment. So no matter where users are, the hybrid workforce can adjust and we can provide them the same solution, same look and feel that you've used many years.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly because business isn't just relegated to the branch anymore. The edge isn't the data center. Business is wherever the customer experience is, wherever their journey is. So whether it's cloud, multi-cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, data center, there's a lot of places. There's indistinguishable edges. There's a lot of gray areas. And so you need to be able to provide the same level of connectivity and protection across all of it. And I think, again, that's the Fortinet solution has always been security first and everything else will follow. And that's really the mindset that we've had. And, that's extremely important for retail. Obviously, when incidents or something occurs, retail is a lot of times front and center. They bear the brunt of a lot of those things, but all industries obviously need to be security conscious and focused. And I think that's kind of what our platform, again, provides them. Peace of mind that they're deploying technology that's not just for today. It's going to solve for future problems as well.
Yeah, great. So, and that's where I think I talked about this new FortiWi-Fi ATF with Wi-Fi 6, another example of providing that accelerated convergence. And Courtney, really the third thing that we rolled out in 7.0 is making that operations more efficient, right? We realized that, look, day zero touch provisioning with the scale, we have done it for thousands of sites. In fact, I'm sure you've experienced that being a formal customer. But now we are also expanding that to SD branch, right? We are also pioneered in making SD-WAN expand to our access points, switches, network access controller. And now all of this together, we are making zero-touch provisioning simple, scalable for across the branches and home sites. But also in addition to that, we are adding more analytics, granular analytics, that self-healing and AI ops experience. So can you talk a bit about how you see Fortinet differentiate in the market with this SD-WAN, SD branch, and simple and efficient operations?
Yeah, there's obviously in the heart of COVID-19, a lot of people thought that maybe retailers would take a step back and be a little cautious. But what we realized is they had to double down, and they continue to double down on digital initiatives. So they're expanding digital footprints, putting out more technology, more ways to create safe and consistent connected experiences for the customer. But they weren't lots of technology going out. What wasn't happening is in-kind staffing, right? More people to support it. So what they needed to do was do more with less, gain efficiencies, create automations, integration, which thankfully the Fortinet platform is purpose built for. So they needed to break down silos between NOC and SOC teams. They needed real-time information. They needed technology that worked well together, worked in tandem, helped create a more efficient environment. And I think that's what we saw a lot of retailers do. They looked at what they had, Fortinet customers looked at what they had, and they were probably not squeezing everything that they could out of it. They didn't realize that oh, I didn't even know this box had that. I can turn on this function, this integrated function, and now support this business need that I have. And that expanded into new opportunities. They realized that we are feature rich and future proof, and we build a lot of this stuff into the box that they can continue to use to solve problems that maybe they didn't even know that they had, or solve problems without going out and buying another box or another service. That was some of the things that we allowed, retailers to do more with less, not have to put in more technology, more things. Obviously, sometimes they did. If they had to support new business ventures or business functions or something that they didn't have, they could expand into wired or wireless access or mobility. But the beauty of it is they could plug it in and it would work because we have that single unified configuration. We manage the, I call it the stack. It's, secure branch in a box, essentially, and it's managed as one comprehensive, platform. It's one comprehensive branch unit, not individual piecemeal solutions that you have to have different management platforms, different workflows, different automation, if there is any automation. That was some of the things that we brought to the table. I made benefit of it for several years. And it was, the beauty of that is I could see how that could be translated to all of our retail customers today. I had done that. I saw challenges. How did we solve these challenges? And it's made it a lot easier when the technology is built to work together, right? It's, simple, right? But it's better when it actually is built to work together.
Yeah, I really like it. This is great. And you touched upon multi-cloud, and I want to bring that conversation to SD-WAN, because one of the things that we're also observing is same SD-WAN that is used for a branch. Now customers are using SD-WAN for a cloud on-ramp as well as running SD-WAN between multi-cloud, right? Mm-hmm. And Fortinet has done that innovation for every cloud provider, for every cloud on-ramp connectivity. The bottom line is, now, even though you have SD-WAN solution at home, on your retail store, or in your multi-cloud, you have a single management to manage and have analytics throughout the users and application data. How do you see the whole multi-cloud experience and the need for running SD-WAN in that and getting that end-to-end connectivity and experience?
Yeah, the beauty of FortiOS is from the smallest box all the way up to the biggest box. Aside from how much throughput you can push through it, it's the same OS. And so you get the same experience, as you said, the same configuration, the management, the visibility, all of that. And I think right now, as we saw for cloud adoption, especially in retail, there was a paradigm shift. It's probably going to go back and normalize. But from last year to the year before, there was a 45% increase in e-commerce. It flipped how much more was going through e-commerce, which meant businesses that didn't have a digital platform had to do it overnight. Those that had one had to expand it rapidly. And if you're in one cloud, you're in all the clouds. You're pretty much in multiple clouds. So we needed to be able to demystify that. We need to be able to create simplicity between clouds, but also accelerate on-ramp of technology into SaaS applications, get data there, get data out, and connect it to their private clouds, connect it to their data centers. They needed seamless connectivity anywhere and not have to spin up this amalgamation of a bunch of different networks and add complexity. They did it with the same FortiOS that they were using for the branch, the same that they were using for the data center. Now that you could expand it into the cloud and tie it all together, not have multiple consoles and things to mess with. It was one single platform to rule them all, essentially. So that was kind of the benefit that we saw. And it's that simplicity and the seamlessness, no matter what environment you're in, that allowed them to rapidly expand into new digital and e-commerce platforms and ultimately, provide that down to the customer.
Amazing. This is really good to see. I think this discussion that we started off about why Fortinet and our customers are seeing a great ROI benefits with SD-WAN. And thank you for all those different elements that you talked about, from the connectivity, from overall experience, from the revenue generation, all the way to the resources, how Fortinet has been helping. So great to see. And that kind of leads to just last week, we saw that Gartner Peer Insight. So we second time in a row, we were recognized for a Gartner Peer Insight Vantage infrastructure. So great to see our overall global customers, huge adoption, but this is a kind of recognition as well. So again, thank you for your time. And thank you everyone who is listening, that Fortinet SD-WAN, we are committed. We are going to continue to innovate, organic development, and making life easier for you, have better user experience, and reduce cost.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.